Oh, yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, this is your boy Marwan right here, your Mind Over Matter TV. Good to see y'all tonight. Gemini. Good to see y'all tonight. Oh, yeah. Hopefully I can get some people to come up here and chat a little bit. Because it's bad enough that your boy was already denied bail, denied bond in the county court, the lowest court in a state. In that court, they usually do things like traffic trials. The court where you saw ELIGIO, they usually do traffic trials, people speeding or prosecuting parking tickets or housing issues, people not paying their rent. Those type of crimes are in that low county court. Once you move it up to the superior court, you got all other type of crimes, and that's where ELIGIO Bishop has decided to get to apply for a bond on the superior court level in the state of Georgia, in DeKalb County. He's hoping to get free as the case, I guess, proceeds, or until some trial goes down. This defendant, who still hasn't been proven guilty, would like the opportunity to go on home, right? Home meaning, I don't know, are they evicted or what? Are they evicted or what? What's going to be home for this guy? That's number one, right? Right, Fly Girl? Number one is, what is Nature Boy going to call home if the judge says he can go? Yeah, I mean, what? Let me see if we can get somebody up here at some point on this call just to come up and talk, see what your voice sounds like, see what opinions you all have as we dive into this a little bit. But first, before anyone comes up, let's take a look at something real quick. Let's just take a look at what the law is, right? This is going to be a legal chat. We're just checking things out, looking to see what's going on in Georgia. You know, we all got Georgia on our minds for a little bit of a time. Georgia. I don't know if you all can see that, but I will read it. What I'm reading is Georgia Criminal Law Code, Section 17(6). It says, a person charged with any offense which is bailable only before a judge of the superior court of this section may petition the superior court requesting that such person be released on bail, which is the topic of this video, releasing this man on bail. And I continue, the court shall notify the district attorney of the area and set a date for the hearing within 10 days after receiving the petition. So that could be within some period of time, a week or so from here. Now, check this part out, ladies and gentlemen. This is a crucial part. As long as you can see it. Can y'all see it? What's happening? Can y'all see this, or should I get completely out the way? Tenant law. Okay, so he may be able to go back there. I'm going to read this part. A court shall be authorized by the judge to release the person on bail if and only if four things can be said is true. So four things have to happen. Can y'all see it on the screen? Four things must happen before the judge gives bail. Four things must be considered. Number one, that the defendant, in this case, Eligio Bishop, poses no significant risk of fleeing from the jurisdiction of the court or failing to appear in court when required. Let's go over that. Do you all think he poses no risk of fleeing? Does he pose a risk of fleeing to any of y'all? Let's say he might try to run or something. Okay, the next one. This person shall be authorized to be released on bail if the court finds that the defendant poses no significant threat or danger to any person, to the community, or to any property. All right. And this is going to be the interesting part. The judge is going to have to look at this, y'all. The third consideration is that the defendant poses no significant risk of committing any felony as he's out waiting for trial, and poses no significant risk of intimidating witnesses or otherwise obstructing justice. That's pretty much all they're going to look at, ladies and gentlemen. Nikki Blaine, Lady Leo, you all heard what was said, and hopefully you can see it on the screen. Because this is very serious, y'all. And I want to test my microphone. So I'm going to bring someone up, okay? I'm going to bring some up on the... Please go ahead and speak. Let me know if we can... Let the chat know if we can hear you. Uh-oh, I couldn't hear you. Can anybody hear him? Or can anybody hear Jack Black? He who is on video asking a member to reach out to Naytiri. Jack Black, can you hear me? Oh man, I knew this was going to happen. Jack Black can't hear me. Nobody can hear anything. All right, I'm gonna have to take you out, Jack Black. Sorry. All right, so let me get back to reading this because it says some people may be worried. Now, the thing about it is there are certain types of cases, as you all know. Hopefully you can hear me. Hopefully you all can hear me. Let me know if you can hear me. There are certain type of cases that usually you won't get, and since this is a rape case, yeah, I had to let Jack Black go. I think there was some issue with my microphone. But he's facing a rape charge, ladies and gentlemen. And a regular Joe Schmo on the street, they might be given bail. I mean, you never know. You never know how it's going to go. But if you've got yourself a serious crime, they're going to look to see if you're the type of person to run away. And this is what helps me. This is what brings me to a pretty good interview I saw. I want to give her props right now because we're looking at whether or not this guy is going to like run away or flee the jurisdiction as we await the trial, right? That's the concern. That's the fear for some of these people. And the thing about it is, some people would argue that, you know what, Nature Boy is going to run. Some people would argue Nature Boy gonna run. You know what else I think is interesting? That since this is a cult, the next thing you know, they might try to act as if Nature Boy is a danger even to the members that are still waiting to give him head. They might, y'all hear what I'm saying? They might look at Nature Boy. They might look at Nature Boy and say, you know what? You are a danger to your own family, to the people that you're going home to. The more they hear from former members.
Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Ron Jones.
And I'm Jennifer Bellamy, the wife of a reported cult leader, wants to tell her side of the story. Eligio Bishop, also known as Nature Boy.
Oh, the charges, there are 3 counts of revenge porn, sharing someone's body or sharing sex acts with someone without consent. 3 counts of revenge porn. And also, it is 1 count of rape. And also, it is 1 count of false imprisonment.
Remains behind bars tonight, facing charges that include rape. 11 Live's Paula Suro just finished speaking with his wife, and she joins us live at the DeKalb County Jail where Bishop is tonight. Paula?
Yeah, Jennifer, after 3 years of knowing each other, Velvet Marquez tells me Eligio Bishop forced her to marry him. Why? She says that he'd tell her that she'd then be forced to bail him out of jail if anything were to happen to him. And of course, today, something quite opposite is happening. She's telling us her side of the story.
I feel that now looking back, I feel that I fell in love with an idea because he pretended to be someone that he wasn't.
Behind this smiling face, Velvet Marquez faced her hardest years next to Eligio Bishop.
He literally held me hostage. He took all of my identification, my passport, my birth certificate, my social, my bank cards, everything, you name it, medical documentations.
She says Bishop, the leader of the so-called cult Carbon Nation, went from spoiling her to abusing her when she got pregnant.
I was forced to engage in sexual activity that I did not want to do. I was still strangled on multiple occasions. So I had to willingly engage in these sexual activities because of to keep myself safe. He would abuse me in front of the women.
She had their daughter in 2019,
Wow.
And a year and a half later, she says he forced her to legally marry him in a Las Vegas chapel.
There was no medical attention given to us. So when I actually went into labor, I had to be rushed to the hospital 2 hours away.
For years, the cult would drive and settle across Central America. Velvet says Bishop lived off of other members' PPP loans and life savings. She gave him her $3,000 college fund, while others gave tens of thousands of dollars. And after 4 tries, she successfully ran away with her daughter with no money but hope.
My child is important. I don't understand how anybody could leave their child to be with him, to go live with him.
Now, Velvet tells me she has since received death threats from Eligio and that he even showed up to her family's home in Louisiana just months after she ran away. Jennifer?
Paula, do we know, did she ever try reaching out to law enforcement?
This part.
She tells me she did, but it was very hard to track him down because he moves so often, running away from law enforcement. But of course, now he is behind bars. Now, we also did speak to
that part. You guys hear that last part? This is Velvet, and the report is she tried, but he's so very difficult to keep track of that he's always trying to run away. She couldn't find a way to serve him. And this came up on the news, and we were just looking at the law regarding what factors the judge looks at when determining whether or not to give a defendant of his caliber, of any caliber, freedom on bail. So she almost touched on one of those factors, which is what? Is he likely to leave the jurisdiction? You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, the purpose of the whole thing is He may be pending trial or pending the official resolution of the case. He's either going to be held in jail, and if he's the type to say, hey, I'm innocent, let me out, well, there's a certain thing he might have to pay for that. He might have to pay some money for that part. And there are different things that the judge tries to look at when determining how much this bail is going to be. They're going to look at the defendant's or the accused financial resources and any other assets. They're going to be looking at his earnings and any other income. They're going to be looking at his debts or obligations to any kids, any children he might be breaking off some loot with. And the purpose of bail. And the purpose of bail. If the person is charged with a serious violent felony and has already been convicted of a serious violent felony, there shall be no condition of bail. Ladies and gentlemen, pretty interesting stuff here. The idea of whether or not he's worthy of bail, or will bail be denied and finally denied? Will the prosecutor fight? Will the judge say, no matter what you all agree to, I, the judge, am deciding he should stay in jail, right? Because you may have a slick lawyer that Nature Boy could have just got, a slick lawyer that would try to contact the district attorney in the cab and try to work something out. You know, they might try to work out a plea deal behind the scenes before this bond hearing even happens. You never know what's going on in the background. And the prosecutor might agree to a deal. And then they'll send it to and then they may have the hearing, and then the judge might say, no, I'm going to reject this bond hearing that you all came up with. And for the interest and public safety, I'm going to keep him right here. I'm going to keep him right here. So there's some of you who believe he should not. Is anyone here believes he should be free? Oh, y'all see what CM is saying? I'm going to try to do something with the audio real quick and see if I can get CM to come up here and share what in the world you're talking about, CM. Come on up. Click that link. Hey, Jamaican girl. What's happening, Coco? Hit that link, CM. And I'm going to try to see if we can work this audio out with you coming up on the panel. I added okay. Mute myself. Boom.
Can you hear me now? Okay, so I can't hear you because you're probably muted. But what I'm going to say is that at the end of the day, I've been watching this whole saga for the past 4 years. And one thing I could tell you is that all of their hands are dirty. I'm to the point that I don't even know the truth from fiction or facts. I'm starting to kind of like question everybody and everyone at every point in this whole thing going down, because you know, some people said they're actors. I'm starting to kind of really think, like, is this like, are they really part of a Illuminati type of cult situation, and they've been just distracting us, distracting the masses? But one thing I can tell you is that all of their hands are dirty. They all were able to eat from the pie. I'm gonna tell you something too. If Nature Boy gets out, game over. I'm probably gonna have to quit my job and probably try to join them all, because it seemed like they ran the willy over, put the blinder over this, you know, everybody that's been watching them for years, our eyes. It's like I question myself at times and I say, can these people really be this deaf, dumb, and blind and fool? Are they acting? Is this real? You know, and I'm still undecided because it seems like they're all getting paid on some part of another system that we don't know about. Somebody's clearly sponsoring these people. And at this point, I don't trust none of them. I don't trust none of them because I heard plenty of times Eligio said, Three God, Nature Boy said how Eliana Velvet was making money on all these apps. So he taught them how to go on all these social media platforms, you know, create this drama, get paid, do all these sexual activities. I mean, I get it that some people can have Stockholm syndrome, but for some reason, I'm not really falling for this whole thing going down. And I think he's gonna get out based on the fact that they were willing participants. I mean, he had all these girls on there. First of all, when they got there, he made them tell their stories on why they came, number one. Number two, when they told their stories, a lot of them admitted to having STDs before they came there. Afterwards, a lot of them admitted that he healed them. A lot of them kept leaving and coming back. And then through the grapevine, they were saying that they were sexually active with the other men inside of that whole, you know, cult. So to me, it's just like, I don't think they even went away for camp every year. I don't even think their parents took them on summer vacations. It just seemed like this was a getaway for them to rebel at this time in their life. And they went over there and they had a grandiose time. And yeah, they put in money to the pot. Yes, he got all this money or whatever. But I honestly do not. I feel like I understand he's in jail, but he shouldn't be in there alone. And I'm just gonna keep it like that. He shouldn't be in there alone. The women should be in there too, the ones that was fighting with each other, beating up each other. Whoever stole money from this person or that person should be in there too. Whoever felt that they got sexually exploited when they were willing participants outside of the country. These women took all these pornographic pictures and they were posing a spread eagle in Mexico, in you know, in Puerto Rico. They were out there in Panama, Costa Rica, and they were spread eagle. I mean, they were up in these waterfalls. They were down to, I mean, it's, come on, to say the female that just came out and said, you know, Nateri, she's very tricky. She's the extremely tricky chick. She said that he raped her. But then he has her in the video saying that she was leaving and she didn't want to be a part of them anymore because she wanted Solar. But then when she came back, she couldn't resist Nature Boy because she wanted to be with him. So she gave herself up to him and she enjoyed it because that's what she wanted. So I don't believe anyone. I don't believe anything I'm seeing. And I honestly feel that he shouldn't be in jail alone. And if he gets out, I'm just telling you, I've had dreams when I've teleported in my sleep and I appeared in their home and saw things going on. And when my spirit teleported to his location in that home, the first thing that they did to me when I was there in a spirit form is they took away, like, they made it seem like they were putting away my belongings, and then all of a sudden they stole it. And then he was trying to you know, kick game to me, and I turned him down in the dream. But he literally came into my dream several times, and I've teleported to where they were to see what was going on in there, because you can't do that, astral projection. But you know, at the end of the day, Nature Boy needs to be out. If he's going to be in there, he needs company, so they all should be in there with him. And that's all I have to say.
Hello, can y'all hear me? Thank you, Che Che.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully you can hear me, because I think I may have figured out the audio and all that. But yeah, the interesting part is that we're when you say other people may be involved, you may be right about that, right? I think as you heard some of the video that Tori was sharing, some information regarding others who may have committed the same sexual type of assault to other women, that there may be others involved, you know, and who knows if they're going to be added on to this case. But when we're talking about specifically the cases, the charges here, which is revenge porn, right? So what makes it difficult is like she said, some of the people were spread eagle. They seemed to be having fun. It seemed to be something they could just come and go. But it's a situation where does he ever still have a right to share her pictures, share sex with him online? That's what the court is going to try to figure out, and they're not even going to figure that out. They're just going to be looking at Eligio as a defendant just to see if he is the type to commit any other crimes, just the type to see if he might actually flee the jurisdiction. And we're dealing with a young man who's fled several countries. We're dealing with a young man who's pretty much fled, I think, baby mamas and having to deal with that type of thing. Fled the country in an effort to try to claim you don't need a passport anymore. So that's an interesting thing, right? And Zakiya Davis said a defense attorney can use those statements. It's really back and forth. That some of these people, like the young lady making the complaints, Neytiri, she may not be a sympathetic type of victim, but is he a flight risk? Is Nature Boy a flight risk? That's going to be the question for everybody, right? And I think it is. So thank you, Che. We're going to try to get some more people up here. And we're going to drop her out of the studio. And we're going to drop another link because we want to see if there's anybody else first that thinks he'll be let free. Not free, but if he will be let go on bond, which would secure the bail. Or are you like T-Breeze and Gemini and everyone else that says, hey, this guy's a flight risk. He's a danger, right? We see more information. You've got so many more videos. You see the T channel showing more information. And Tori, who's another former member that went back after leaving and exposed, right? And she went right back, but she's very clear in her mind. Tori is very clear and steady and consistent. Tori is the one who's introducing all this other information. And Velvet talks about the PPP loans, and there's so many different pots he could put his hands in once he's actually free. But what we're dealing with is the state of Georgia. You see how that works? What we're dealing with is not only Nature Boy, Eligio, but we're dealing with the state of Georgia. And as we have here, Star Child number 9 says she doesn't think the state of Georgia is going to release him on bond. From what you understand, they take these charges seriously, not to mention others like Velvet are willing to testify against him. That's right. That's right. Thank you all for showing some support right there. Constantly telling them they're lying, but yet get mad when they don't come forward. No, they aren't all innocent, but don't dismiss what they've been through, says Loading. Ty Gemini says he should be released because some of the other hands are dirty. Is that why he should be released? Because other hands are dirty? Some people say, I don't know about that. But let's look at Georgia, as you can see on my screen here. Let's just take a look at Georgia because that's the state that we're in, right? Now, when we use the word non-bondable, that means, all right, you're not going to get, you're pretty much staying. The Georgia Criminal Code, there are 13 offenses that are deemed non-bondable. That means that an offender charged with any of these more serious crimes cannot be allowed to post bail unless it's done so by the type of judge that Eligio is going to. So we've already seen this part. This is the reason why he was not given bond in the first place, because he had a very serious offense, rape. Now, he may still be able to go, as it says, by a superior court judge. And here it has here, can you still obtain bail if you are charged with a non-bondable offense? Check this out. If you have been charged with any of the above offenses, bail will be denied, at least at the local level where Eligio was just denied. The state does allow you to request that a bail amount be set by a superior court judge. To exercise this option, your attorney must file a motion for bond in superior court. This process is time-consuming and may take several weeks. Granting of your attorney's motion for a hearing is not a guarantee, right? So some people may get fooled that just because you have a hearing before the judge, you may be fooled to think you're actually going to get that bond. Don't be a fool, this thing says. It's not a guarantee that your bond amount will be set in your case. It simply means that the superior court will review the circumstances of your arrest, right? You all remember the arrest, right? The nature of the offenses, which is rape, and his previous history with the court, if any court. So that means what? Nicaragua, he had a history with the court there. Costa Rica, he had, I don't know if, yeah, well, there was a history with the police there. They're going to look at that to determine whether a bond is warranted. The superior court must look at several factors when determining whether to grant bail for a serious crime. These may include, and I want you all to listen to this. There are certain things this judge, when you got yourself a serious crime, you trying to get bail, there's some things the judge looks at, y'all, and this is it. The judge looks at your standing in the community. Are you using your increments to give 5 the community? These may include your standing in the community. It includes the likelihood that you will pose a danger to others in the community. Would he pose a danger? Do his neighbors think that he poses a danger? Do the people in that restaurant that kick them out, do they think he poses a danger? Or is he just a black guy talking about he's God? And they're going to look at all these factors. For example, his previous criminal history they're going to look at. And it says, while many defendants charged with serious offenses seek superior court only bonds, only a small fraction of these are granted. That's the most important sentence in everything we read here so far. While many defendants charged with serious offenses seek superior court only bonds, only a small fraction of these requests are ever granted. So we'll leave that up for you to figure out. But I think it's somewhat clear. You see what Star Child said? What was that, Cocoa? First of all, a jury may not even look at these women as being of sound mind. They will be seeing this for the first time. Thank you, Lioness. So there you go. We see that Georgia don't play. We see that Georgia, when it comes to serious offenses, you better have a very positive and very influential impact in a positive way in your community. This is just another reason why, ladies and gentlemen, your character matters, y'all. I'm telling you, your character matters. How you treat people, especially people that can't do you nothing, as some may say. How you treat people that you don't need. Your character matters. What type of paper trail you leave in the court system matters, because you may get caught up in a situation that you think you're innocent in later on, and no matter how innocent you are right now, the situation you're facing, what you're really dealing with is that you didn't really have the proper character. You got yourself a type of past that they might not let you out. And this video here is not legal advice to anybody. I'm not out here. I'm not out here lawyering for nothing. I'm not out here giving nobody legal advice. We see that he's trying to get a bond. We see his ignorant followers think that he's God, and you would think that God would get some sort of bond, right? God ain't getting nothing. He is a menace, Herbanista. Ty Gemini says, let's also not forget that in Georgia, he will face a female judge. Might as well stick a fork in him. He's done. All right. So if you know it's a female judge already, then that's cool. Now, someone else mentioned Nature Boy's brother. I forget exactly who mentioned Nature Boy's brother, but I don't remember who put that down there, but I remember that it was put down in the chat. So if anyone has any information about Nature Boy's brother in the year 2019, something went down, I don't know. But as Good Life says, this may be the moment where carbonation, melanation ends. Because you know what? They may never see that dude again other than visitation, right? They're going to be visiting God and while he's back there. And Steve called this out years ago. Was he lying? He has a pattern. Exactly. So Star Child, you saw anything recent about Nature Boy's brother? And what was the 2019 about? I remember seeing that date, 2019. T-Breeze says, then they will look into those loans. Some more will be arrested as well. Flight risk. They're going to look at his seat. Y'all saw it right there, man. They're really going to look to see what is it about this person that is good, that is worthy, or what, or do people have something to worry about if we let him go? Do people have something to worry about if we let him go? Kiss the Veil with Leonardo. This man is facing these charges with a public defender. Does the cult really want him out? Yeah, he may have gotten a lawyer by now. I think his lawyer is from some law firm called the Sherman Law Firm, Bill Sherman or something like that. But yeah, I don't know. I have heard that this guy, Nature Boy, has their own private lawyer, defense lawyer. But you never know. You never know. The T showed a video with Kiss the Veil with Leonardo. I wouldn't even know who Leonardo is, but I'm guessing that may be Eligio's brother. Is this an old video? Yeah, so it's 2019. That's right. So yeah, that, as I mentioned, the T is purposefully, I think, laying down certain old videos now, and it's important to wonder why she's laying down certain videos in this order or whatever she's doing right now, because if she's putting up a 2019 video, then that tells you right there what's going on, that there's a pattern, that there's a practice, that there's an audio trail, that there's a video trail that this dude left behind. And he's dumb. Oh, okay. He said Eligio never seen a prison a day in his life. It was a mental spot, right? A mental ward for 5 years, because he's not supposed to be around people. And that's why he took him out into the woods, because he knew he's basically a threat here. So that's another reason. They're going to be looking into his mental health and the fact that, oh, wait a minute, he's pretty much a threat to himself, threat to everyone else. This could be a Jim Jones situation, right? You release him, and then the next thing you know, everybody's drinking the Kool-Aid, right? Isn't that crazy how that might sound? You release him, no matter how much he puts up. Who cares how much money he gives them? But you let him go, And then what might be the result? He and the rest of the members might drink the Kool-Aid. Isn't that something? They might actually drink the Kool-Aid and be done on some Jim Jones stuff, but they can't do it unless Nature Boy is free and Nature Boy orders them to do it. That's pretty much what it would take. False. Nature Boy was in a Jamesburg prison for boys in New Jersey. Well, what we're not going to do here is fight over whether or not Nature Boy was in prison or emotion or mental health or both. He seems to be the type of dude that, chances are he could have been in both. You know what I mean? And if you're bad enough to basically be sentenced to jail, but you're bad. You're bad enough, even if he ended up in a home. Nature Boy was molested while in the care of his second foster family in New York. Isn't that interesting? That's what the word was. He couldn't really be around people at some point, based on the mental thing. And listen, is there anything redeeming? Is there anyone that has something to worry about if he is actually let go? Are his own family members in danger? Like, what if the court ends up seeing some videos and they might end up realizing that despite what these weird cult members are saying, this guy is actually a danger to even the most loyal followers of his. They might end up saying this guy is actually a danger to people that he is responsible for. This guy has put his hands on his own wife. So he might end up staying right there where he belongs in that prison. Ladies and gentlemen, it all may have already been written already. Yeah, I actually remember. That's why I was wondering, is that a recent video? Is his brother recently coming out? I'm like, why? But yeah, I remember when it came out in 2019 that I remember when the brother spoke on some things. Yeah, that's the thing. You see how that is, Urbanista? Even though he's got these weirdo cult members outside ready to go do concerts. I don't know if they've done that, take instruments down to the courthouse, but all these people working for him, giving them their money, the court might ultimately figure that they aren't safe around him either. That they ain't safe around him either. That would be hilarious because all they're thinking is, well, if they're worried about Neytiri being safe, she just told everybody she moved and don't nobody know where she is. So he's not going to go find her. No, it's not just about protecting her. It's about protecting even you who cannot protect your damn self. Even you, members of the cult. The court now is going to separate you from your family as if you were right there on the border living in cages. The court probably just separated the family permanently unless they meet again behind bars. Thank you again, Desandra. Sunfruit, what did Musa mean by saying wait to see what happens on the 30th? I don't know. I don't know what he said before that. I don't know what he said before that. If April 30th is his next bond hearing, he may just be putting out some positive energy or whatever, thinking that Nature Boy would be let go on the 30th, which may be the date of his bond hearing. I don't know, but that's my guess of what Musa was saying, but I didn't hear it at all. But I don't trust much of what Musa is or what he says. I don't respect much of what this version of Musa is about. The 30th is Nature Boy's birthday, age 40. Isn't that something? Isn't that something? This guy gets arrested like a month or whatever before his birthday. Isn't that hilarious? Yeah, that's the thing, man. Musa can. Every one of those cult members, right? All should be a danger to themselves. I wonder how it's going to work out. But yeah, the way it is, people are investigating, y'all. There's certain authorities right there investigating things, and they're looking at all the videos. And trust me, by this point, they know exactly what those authorities need to see. Solar eclipse. Nature Boy made a prediction. Yeah, he also said there's going to be solar flares somewhere at some point. He said that like a couple years ago. I was like, all right, whatever, my brother. But what is it? What are they saying is going to happen? Nature Boy made a prediction. It will be a solar eclipse on April. Well, yeah, if it's an April 30th solar eclipse, then chances are it wasn't no prediction. He just looked up the weather or some shit. He just looked up when the next solar eclipse is, and then he decided to make a prediction, which isn't really a prediction, is it? Oh, well, apparently the next one isn't until October 25th, 2022. No, no. It says the first solar eclipse of 2022 is coming on April 30th. And that was out on April 11th. So Nature Boy's never saying anything original. He's sort of looking things up and hoping you haven't looked it up and calling it a fucking prediction. Sat 12 says no bond because before the raid, Nature Boy was boasting on video. He wasn't going to the hearing on revenge porn, and he was going to Vegas where he might do it on conference video. Yeah, it shouldn't take much, y'all. Yeah, I don't think he should be freed at all. I think he's a flight risk. I think he's a danger to the community. I think he could commit another crime. I think he's a danger to the people that he's living with and that who are sucking his toes. I think he's a danger to their whole situation. So yeah, so he's gonna stay right there, y'all. That's my prediction. I don't know if it's happening on the 30th. I don't care. I don't know if it's happening on a solar eclipse or whatever, but whenever they have the bond hearing, I'm almost convinced already. I'm well satisfied that dude is going to be there during his birthday and after his birthday and for a while. Okay? Because Georgia does not play when it comes to rape, as you shouldn't play when it comes to rape and possibilities that he's raped before and beaten women before. He's got the pictures, he's got his artwork all over Google Images of what happens when he's on top of women he loves and doesn't want her to go, or doesn't want her to break up. And he's shown what he does when he straddles a woman's neck and basically reshapes her jaw and her face. There's all types of evidence. So if you let something like that go out on bond, and you're not a respectable criminal, you're the worst. You're not respectable at all. That's not respectable. I'm sorry. What's with people saying Nature Boy is in protective custody? I don't know. I'm hearing that's something you could like try to ask for up front. He might be the type of dude that would tell some officers, hey, listen, man, I don't want, do I have to worry in here because I'm popular or whatever? Do I have to worry These people might think I'm God. You know what I'm saying, CO? These people might think I'm God. I don't want them bum rushing me. Can I get protective custody, please? Some people may be asking for it up front. Uh, but quarantine, I don't know what you mean by that. I don't know what you mean by that quarantine, but this is the next stage of what is about to go down. We shared a little bit as to how Georgia messes around with this whole idea of non-bondable offenses, right? That's the wording, that's the vocabulary you want to lose. Non-bondable offenses. And what are some exceptions? When will they allow bond even though you're charged with a non-bondable offense? And you saw the factors. You saw when they might. And you must have really good standing in the community. That means a clean slate, basically. This has to be your first time coming before the law. That means you got to be well respected online and off, and Nature Boy is neither. And Nature Boy is neither. He has no really respectable standing online or off. So let's just see one more thing I want to show you all real quick before we shut down for the night. I want to share this screen one more time because we want to see how certain things get done, and you want to just see how things get applied in a real life situation in the state of Georgia, I think. Yeah, the state of Georgia. This is what you would call an order denying defendant's second motion for bail. And it's an order denying motions for bail. This court held an uncommonly long and comprehensive hearing on July 17th, at which time the parties were allowed to present copious amounts of evidence and testimony, right? Evidence, testimony. After thorough consideration, this court denied bail. Defendant then filed a second motion for bail, which I guess Nature Boy might do also. A second motion for bail, motion for reconsideration for denying the bond, saying you've got additional witnesses to testify on your behalf, that he does not pose any of the risks as defined that we spoke about, that he cannot adequately assist his attorney while he's incarcerated, that the denial of bond is manifestly unjust when compared to other alleged killers throughout the country, and that his health is declining due to incarceration. The defendant attached photocopy of the letter written to him from his daughter saying, "Please let my daddy out." A photocopy of a letter written to Jackie Johnson from his, all these different evidences. People really want this person free. After considering the evidence presented, the court does not find that any of the factors to be considered have changed, which would warrant a hearing or reconsideration of defendant's denial of bond. So, ladies and gentlemen, what you'll notice is bond is often or on occasion denied in certain cases, even in Georgia. It could be denied, ladies and gentlemen, but it all depends. And you have to prove, right? Can you imagine? Nature Boy himself is actually going to have to prove that he's got great standing in the community. Outstanding! He's got to show that he stands out in positive ways. He's got to show out. He's got to show that this is like the first time. He's got a clean record. He can't be an international guru that got kicked out of Costa Rica. No, he can't be that. He can't have his own wife and baby mother on news saying that, yeah, this could have been her case if only she could track him down. That's exactly what Velvet said, that this right here, it could be her case because she went to the authorities. She tried to get it all done. but they couldn't actually serve him because he was moving around. And he knew she was coming for his ass. So if Velvet couldn't actually keep up with him, then this court is going to wonder if they will have a hard time keeping up with him too. Well, he got his ladies on Bigo now saying how he's a nice, sweet, loving man. They playing damage control. Well, yeah, they're doing what they're trained to do. You see how that goes? They're doing what they're trained to do. That's all, right? The judge, whatever jury, they're going to be looking at them as people saying what they were trained to say and doing what they were trained to do because they don't know no better and they're caught up, allegedly. Allegedly. But then they might go back. They caught up, but then they might go back. They got caught up, but then they might go back. So we've pretty much covered every single base here. We took a look at some of the other cases here. Can you bond out on a felony charge in Georgia? Can you bond out on a felony charge? Is bail guaranteed in the state of Georgia for felony? The short answer is no. If the crime you committed is egregious and or you have other convictions, you may not be allowed to post bail. That is because you are deemed a serious risk to the community if you were freed. There it is right there, right? Pretty much it right there, right? Broke it down pretty lovely here. Thank you all for working with me in the chat. I'm going to get more used to bringing people up on my platform just to talk about various issues. Thank you for subscribing, right? And as Nikki Agyapong says, yes, the rape charge alone is going to hold him there. And there's going to be all this evidence pouring in. You know, it may help. It might help Nature Boy to have people writing letters, right? If Nature Boy knew the mayor of Atlanta, if Nature Boy knew any pastor, if Nature Boy had a solid relationship with any big time CEO, business leader, or any history of being an integral part of helping the community. No, Nature Boy has none of these things. Nothing really attaching him to any area. And he may be that flight risk for real, though. So I want to thank you all for coming through here. Thanks, Che, again, for stepping up to my platform. I'm sort of new to the platform thing, but we're going to get people up on the panel and talk. Thank you for stopping by and subscribing. And please don't call me a Nature Boy alone kind of reporting kind of thing. Take a look at some of the other videos I have here, please. Thank you. Thank you for all your support. Of course, anyone who hit the Cash App as you have today, I appreciate you as well. This is your boy Marwan. Mike Brown is connected to whom or to what, I don't know. But if he's connected to this case, that will be interesting too. But so far, we don't know. Thank y'all very much, all right? Beautiful spirit, thank you. Lovely Angel M, thank you. Peace and blessings to you too. Star Child. Nikki Blaine, Karesha, thank you. Nikki, appreciate ya. Shri Bad. You know Shri Bad. Yeah, Prospect Park, Shri Bad. I'm with the ladies. What are they called again? Black Girl Smoke is the name of the group. It's a co-ed, but it's called Black Girl Smoke. And it's and I'm gonna be there, man. It's called Puff in the Park by Black Girl Smoke. It's a 420 celebration. And it says, we are so excited to announce that we are bringing the high girl vibes back to Brooklyn this year. Come spend your 420 with the Black Girls Smoke Team at our free park event. We welcome all races and genders, but you must be 21 and over to attend. What you'll need to bring is a blanket to sit on, your favorite flower, bring yourself, bring some munchies, and your water. Location Prospect Park. We're going to email it to you. We understand that smoking is not permitted in public parks, but you know what? We'll just be there to celebrate 420. However, we can't tell you what you should or should not do. And that's where I'm going tomorrow. Thank you all. I enjoyed this as well. I'll make sure I do some editing, the dead spots with the microphone. Appreciate y'all. Enjoy your 420, everybody, tomorrow. Puff, puff, pass. And don't forget to pass. But make sure you don't pass gas. Peace out, y'all. One love, one love. You're lucky just to have some fun.